Hello everyone, my name is Shubhajit and you are watching WebDev Shubhajit. Today we will be discussing one of the very important concepts from JavaScript interview perspective and also one of my favorites, that is currying. This is not related to something cooking or making food because this is a JavaScript tutorial, so we are actually discussing about something related to JavaScript. So let's get started. Let me show you how currying actually looks like, and then you will be able to understand what it is. So when we have nested functions in JavaScript, what do I mean by nested functions? So can you see this? That we have this function sum, which is taking a single parameter a. Inside that, we are actually returning one more function, which is taking a single parameter b. And let's say inside this, we are calling one more nested parameter, that is nested function with the parameter c, and then at the end when this function is called, it will be returning a plus b plus c. Now just pause at this point and understand what this function sum is doing. So whenever we are calling this function sum with a single value, this will be returning us a function. Okay, now let's say we are, so this is a function, right? Because this is this whole function till this. Yeah, now whenever we are calling this function again with one more value, that is b, it is returning us a function again, that is this function. And now the last one, that is when we are calling this function with a parameter c. So can you see this structure is actually currying? That's what I am trying to explain. This structure where you are actually not passing the things inside a single function with comma separated values. These parameters are comma separated values. This is not the case. The case is something like we are actually having these pair of parentheses with single parameters one after the other. So we are basically calling the nested functions again and again and again, and we at the last gets this a plus b plus c value. So if I give it actual values, let's say 7, let's say 2, and let's say 4, and if I console log it, I hope many of you have guessed it right. 7 plus 2 9 plus 4 13. Okay, so the output should be 13. So yeah, you can see the output is 13. Looks good. I also want you to see the type of. So type of actually tells that what is the type of the value which is returned. So what does sum of 7 will return? It will return a function, this function. Okay, let's see. It's not saved properly. Just clear it out, and can you see it's a function? Okay, let's go a little bit more deep. So let's say 3. What it will return? It will also return a function. Can you see this function? Okay, let's run this. Okay, so it's running a function. Okay, now let's get one more level deep, but here it will not be returning a function because this is the last function call which we made with the c value of 1. So now it will be returning us a number with a value a plus b plus c, which is 7 plus 3 10 plus 1 11, but the type of will be a number. Saved it, ran it, and it came as a number. I hope you have understood this right. Okay, just go through this once, what I have done again. You will be definitely able to understand. Okay, now why it is one of my favorites? Because you are actually returning function inside a function body. So that is awesome. And again inside that we are returning a function, and definitely inside that again we are actually returning the a plus b plus c, that is the sum value. Now you would be telling that why this is like this, Shubhajit. Like, we can have a function sum all and we can take the arguments all at once and we can return this. This will also work, right? Definitely it will work, but there is an advantage of actually using this type of structure. I will also give you an example later on which will actually clarify you that why this type of functions like currying concept is necessary. But let me give you an example for now. Let's say I have sum 4. Okay, let me take a value sum 4 is equals to sum, and inside that I pass the value 4. So now I observe that sum 4 is a function which is this function. Okay, and I got a signature for this, that is whenever now I am calling this sum 4 with some arguments, then I know that the 4 will definitely be added to that. What do I mean by that? Const sum 4, okay, sum 4 and 5. So let's take it as sum 4. So sum 4 is the sum of 4. So we have this function now, and inside this function now we are calling it as 5. So I can understand the sum 4 and 5 will be 4 plus 5, that is 9. And now whenever I am trying to get a result out of it, with sum 4 and 5, I know that 4 plus 5 will be added to my result. So 4 plus 5 is 9, and whenever I do this, the result will be the result should be 10. The result should be actually 4 plus 5 plus whatever passed inside this. It's not saved properly. Let me clear this out. And now, yeah, can you see 10 is here? And why it happened? It happened because of this type of structure where we don't need to actually call the function with all the arguments at a single step. We can actually break it down based on our requirement. Now it might be a very simple thing to do it here, but when it comes to real-time scenarios, then it will make more sense. And also I want to add that you can actually have random stuff or random code in between that, and still the result will not change. Okay, so yeah, let's run this again. Can you see doing anything with sum 4, doing anything with sum 4 and 5, and then passing 10? There can be anything here, but the point which I want to focus on is that you actually break this function into multiple segments, and you can call each of the segments whenever you want, and you have these things stored as custom values. Sum 4, now this is a custom function which will actually help us to add 4 to whatever value pass further. The sum 4 and 5, this is a custom function now, because we know that whenever whatever value we will be passing in, the sum 4 and 5 will actually add 4 plus 5 to that number. So this is how it works. Now just add on to this, I just want you to tell that a good coding practice is not using this type of nested functions. We have actually arrow functions as well. So it's better to use arrow functions because it keeps the code with lesser lines. Okay, and it's actually good to look. Like it actually looks good. Why? Because you can actually see in a single line what is happening. But here you might get confused. Okay, a function is there, inside that one more function is there, inside that one more function is there, and then they are returning. So let me have sum which is simple, sum simple, and here you will be able to understand this logic, this syntax actually, if you know about arrow functions in JavaScript. I would highly encourage you to read about arrow functions if you are not aware of that, but giving you a brief, this whole part is actually this whole function sum. Okay, We are passing a as an argument, so these are anonymous functions, we don't need to actually name them. This a function, this is the body of the a function, where it is again returning this function with a argument b. So this is this function, and inside the b function we have a function which is taking the argument as c. Okay, this is this function, and inside this function which is taking the argument c, it is returning the values a plus b plus c. This is very simple. So can you understand and see that how simple it is to make it in a single line as compared to this where we have nested function, and it also looks a bit confusing. Okay, right, I hope you understand that. Okay, now this is done. Now why I have you explained you this type of pattern, because I will be actually using this further in one of the real life examples. So let's get to the real life example now. You might have actually seen that there might be errors which are occurring on the server. Okay, and whenever the developer actually goes and he actually looks for the logs first. What are the logs? The logs actually tells us that, okay Shubhajit, what error has occurred here. He will be able to trace back those errors, whatever errors has occurred, and what is the origin of that error, and then he tries to resolve them. If an application is not logging the things on the server at a certain time interval, or if some error occurs, then it will be really difficult to actually replicate that error and understand what the error was. So in that case, logging actually helps. Now why I am explaining this here, because we can create a very simple logger with the help of curring. Okay, so let's say we want to have this time of the log, we want to have the type of the log, and we also want to have a detailed message of the log. Okay, so these three things we want from the log. Now how will we do that? So const logger, I will take it as a logger, and here we have the time, and then here we have the type, and here we have the message. And then what it is returning, it is actually returning us, so I am using the template literal here. It is similar to string, but inside template literal you can actually use JavaScript with the help of a $sign and a set of curly braces. I will show you how. So here I will say at time. At what time? Now with the help of dollar and curly braces, we can have whatever the time is dot to local string. Okay, to local string. So this is like whatever time we have, that time will be changed to local string. Okay. Okay, just to make the thing simpler, let's not use this, just use the time directly for now. Let's say for now. Okay, at time this an event of type of what type? Of type this type and a $sign of this type. So this type is a JavaScript which is taking the value from here. This time is this JavaScript which is taking the value from here, right? An event of type this occurred with full details as message. I hope you understood this string. So what this string will print at time, whatever time it is, an event of type this type occurred with full details as this message. So I hope you have understood that this logger function is actually using curring, and it is very similar to this above some simple method, but here we have the time and type and message. Okay, so let's say our day starts and we have let's say errors, not errors but events now is equals to is equals to, let's say, logger and 5 a.m. Okay, let's say I have taken the time as 5 a.m. for events now, and now a lot of things happen, and after that, let's say some event occurred, so some trigger, something happened which triggered the event. Okay, and when it happened, then in that case, what will we do? We will actually call this events now with the event as, let's say, error. Some error occurred. Okay, and then we can actually have the detailed error, that is what we can say, null pointer, not null pointer, we can say that cannot set properties of null. Let's say some this type of error occurred. So can you see this, that this events now whenever we called with error and cannot set properties of null, which is at a later point of time from wherever we have actually set the initial events now. Okay, and what it will return, this events now, what it will return, it will actually return us, it will actually return us this string which is given above at time this. So yeah, let's have this console log, and let's say something happened which triggered the error event here, which triggered the success event. So the same way we can actually do this for success also. So we have, let's say, success, and here let's say all test cases passed. Okay, I hope you got it. And now if I run this, you will be able to see that at 5 a.m. yeah, let's actually see that in spite of telling invalid or expression 5 a.m. I think I haven't saved it properly. After saving it properly, let's run this again. Okay, so a lot of things happen, this line 15, and after that, and before that only, we have set the 5 a.m. logger for events now. Then we have at time 5 a.m. event of type error occurred with full details as cannot set properties of null. Then again at time 5 a.m. an event of type success occurred with full details as all test cases passed. Can you see the power of this? We can actually do one more thing. We can actually yeah, let me do one thing. I actually want to show you all the possibilities. So events now is there. Now we can have const error event is equals to events now with error. Okay, but till now I haven't given the actual message for this error. I can give it later. Let's say I can console log error events with the message as this cannot set properties of null, and this should work as it is. Same way we can have this as success event. Okay, and then later on we can pass this all test cases passed later on. So that is how it is. Let's run this thing and see that if everything is running fine or not. Yeah, at time 5 an event of type success occurred with full details, an event of type error. So now this error came afterwards because it's called at the last. Okay, I hope you are able to understand what the power of currying is. And yeah, let me know in the comment section if you have any doubts around that. I will be really happy to help. Thanks a lot, guys.